Welcome to the YouTube channel of mprugs.com. My name is Mike. I'm the moderator in a series of videos that is all about handmade carpets from around the world. I welcome you to our YouTube channel, and today's video I'm going to be introducing you to a very classic and popular type of tribal Persian rug. These are handmade rugs that are still being made in the old-fashioned way, and it is one of several basically tribes. These are folks throughout the Middle East, such as Iran and Afghanistan and Turkey, and in this case we are talking about Afshar Persian rugs. These are handmade tribal rugs. So if you are into the old school way of the old school Persian rugs, and if you enjoy the more traditional Persian rugs, please watch our video, as I'm going to be introducing you to a very classic type of not just Persian rug, but a great example of how cultures and people, how they have all come together and they create these handmade pieces that really withstand the test of time. These are carpets that have been around for centuries, and by the people known as the Afshari. These are originally of Turkish descent, and centuries ago these are nomads. These have moved from Turkey to Iran, what was back then was Persia. And so you have groups of Afshari people, very proud, very traditional. These are, generally speaking, considered to be nomads. There are pockets of them throughout Iran as well as Afghanistan, and they make some of these beautiful, very traditional tribal rugs. And so I thought I'm going to feature a few of them, and really just amazing types of not just carpets, but these are testaments to how the carpets were made. So I have three examples here that I thought I'd show with you. And these are carpets that are sometimes often also offered as Yalame or Shiraz or Yazd, depending on the dealers. But the people that make these types of carpets are they are known as the Afshari. The Afshari, they have, depending on which group you're looking at, they can have their own accent, kind of like, for example, my family, my mother's side is from Tabriz. They speak Azari, which is kind of like an old Persian / Turkish dialect. And the Afshari also, the language, from what I understand, it's very similar. They have they have their own language, kind of like how when the Kurdish people, even though I'm friends with Iranian, Persian, Kurdish people, when they speak Kurdish, even though I can understand Persian, my knowledge of when they speak, I could barely understand what the heck they're saying. Kurdish and Persian, very different. Afshari and Persian also. The language, they have their own distinct ways of doing it. And I think a lot of that has also to do with pride. And they are really nomadic in nature. And they want to continue, obviously, to honor their tradition, to keep their culture and language and way of life just alive. And so, but basically, to get started in the video here, I want to, first of all, give you a little insights. For example, if you look at the map of Iran, you will notice that I circled. In the central area, there is a city of Yazd, and you notice I circled that for you. This is one of the places where there is a large concentration of the Afshari people. And there is another one, for example, in northeast border in Iran. There's also, and so there's pockets of Afshari people, but I circled that particular area because that is where these carpets were made. And it's kind of like, almost like a triangle area. If I zoom in that area, you will see that there is Yazd to the north, and then there is Shiraz to the southwest, and then there is Kerman to the southeast. So that triangular area, that is where these carpets are made. Now the Yazd are known as nomads, and so these are people that they move around. The culture is one of movement, and so they also make carpets that reflect that. The Afshari rugs are known for being utility rugs. These are rugs that are designed to be used. It's not about luxury, it's about utility. And they also, in addition to making carpets, rugs, they also make saddle packs. And I have one rare example of it here. These are, and when I get behind the cameras, I always do in a little bit, and I'm going to show you the close-ups and everything. It's a little neat little, nowadays, become like a decor item. This is something that people love to hang on walls, or they just put them in the home decor. It's something that is not only common amongst the Afshari, but another group of people that I personally am drawn to is Native American, being that I'm from, like I said, as I always tell people, when I was a kid, I moved to the States, and where I made my home in Colorado, we have the Pueblo Indians. And I also have friends in Arizona who literally used to live on Navajo land. And so we're talking about a type of weave. This is basically where you have the carpet weavers. They would also make bags that were literally designed, you know, you throw over your shoulder, and these are bags. And so in addition to making the carpets, it's a beautiful little decor item. I thought I'd throw this in and show it to you. But the Afshari rugs, these are one of the few types of still Persian rugs. These are classified as tribal rugs. You typically have the wool, you have the standard sheep wool, cotton foundation, but they are genuinely speaking still being made with pure vegetable dyes. And the reason that you can easily tell that is because even though the rugs are not as old as they may appear, you can see the fading, you can see the aging of the dyes. And this is something that on the vegetable dyes, on the pure vegetable dyes, they age a lot quicker than on the dyes that are used nowadays on most of the Persian rugs. And so in the city rugs like the Tabriz, the Isfahans, the Nains, on the higher end pieces, they use a combination of commercial, and then they have to have some vegetable dyes, but they're not pure vegetable dyes. But on these types of rugs, they're still being made with vegetable dyes. Also, because of it, you don't have a huge number of colors. You typically, with these types of carpets, the tribal rugs, you generally speaking, you may have, let's say, 10 different colors. And you notice that these are earthly colors. What you generally don't have are the solid blacks. You don't have the solid whites. There's basically what I say, I always tell folks, you can always tell the difference. No pinks, no solid reds, No solid whites, no solid blacks. These are incredibly difficult colors to create in the vegetable dyes. So whenever you have these types of rugs, you're generally looking at vegetable dyes. Again, cotton foundation, wool. These are typically made on what is known as a Persian knot. Sometimes they also use the Turkish knot. On the tribal rugs, and like I said, when I get behind the camera and I'll show you the details of them, these are great examples of also the blend in the history and the culture. When you look at the designs, you are noticing the edgy geometric patterns. This is classic for Persian rugs that date back typically centuries. And what is beautiful about these types of rugs is that they kept their heritage going. For example, you have a lot of the city rugs where Isfahan, and I'm just going to use, like I said, Isfahan, Keshan, Tabriz, Qom, where generally speaking, at the end of the day, money talks. These are carpets that today they weave something, in 20 years, designs completely change, colors change and everything, because they know there is money to be made. Whereas with the nomadic types of tribal rugs, the people that weave the rugs, they're not really thinking about, hey, profit. They are basically making rugs. These are typically sold for the local markets, and they are designed to be used. These are, back in the days when they made these rugs, I mean, like I said, we're looking at rugs here that are about 30, 40 years old. But they were meant to be used and abused. And what is great for European clients, what is great for example, whether it's my clients in Europe, United States, or anywhere in the world, a lot of folks who like these types of rugs, this is something that you can buy today where you're not spending a huge sum of money. And what I say is, history is made on these types of carpets. This is something that you can buy and you can have in your home, and someday your children, your grandchildren, they will look upon this not as an heirloom that has gone up in value, but as a piece of carpet that you've had in your home where literally a life was formed on them. You may have, like I said, I have rugs that like these that we have had in our home that I remember from my childhood, whether it is visiting my family and just having great memories. And like I said, to me personally, I love these types of carpets. Not very expensive, last you God knows how long. I mean, these are literally indestructible, and they're just beautiful to look at. So again, I have 3 examples here. Now, as I always do, I'm going to get behind the camera. I'm going to show you some of the features of these types of rugs. And as I mentioned to you, these are the rugs that are generally referred to, whether it is Yazd, whether it's sometimes Shiraz, Yalame, like I said. But because these carpets were actually woven, we know they were woven by the Afshari people, we classify them as Afshars. So again, I'm going to get behind the camera. As I always tell my clients, if you are into Persian rugs and if you like our channel, please hit that subscribe button. It helps us out. Also, if you have questions about rugs that you may have, and I feature a lot of them in my YouTube channel where I make myself available to you. There is a link below that shows you how to send me the right pictures. The video, it explains to you the pictures, the file sizes, and all that stuff. And yes, so I am making myself available also to you. You can email us through our website at mprugs.com, or you can leave any questions in the comments section. I do my best to try to answer as many as I can. But yeah, so I'm gonna get behind the camera, show you the details, and then I'm gonna come back later and say my final goodbyes. So I'm gonna see you again here in just a bit. So here I am back again behind the camera as always, and just to show you, give you some ideas for these tribal rugs. Like I said, I personally really like them. They are a great reminder of what the whole carpet manufacturing centuries ago was all about. And you can see the influence of the Caucasus, the people that are basically all combined to make up the Caucasus region. You have this geometric design that is typical for the rugs that have that Turkish, Persian, Azerbaijani, what we call the Caucasian influence. And as I mentioned to you, these are tribal rugs that are typically made with a wool, standard sheep wool, cotton foundation. And as you can see here, the knots, don't let them fool you. These are actually very fine weave. It's a very, very strong weave. And you can see this is classic with the edging of the tribal rugs. With the edge, you can see this right here. This is also a great sign of them being genuine pieces when you see these colored edging along the sides. And then you have the very thin fringes at the end. Because again, remember, these, now this piece right here probably dates back about 30, 40 years. I'm sorry, not 30, 40 years. That's the one on the right. This piece right here, I could easily see this being 50, 60 years old. Although, like I said, I'm going to go with the safe side. I'm going to say this rug was made in the early 80s, but it could actually date back a lot longer than that. And we can tell, generally speaking, because of the way that the dyes fade over the decades. That's one easy way for us to tell the age. And but in this particular piece, we're not too sure about. So rather than promising you something that I cannot deliver on, I'm just letting you know. It's a beautiful piece though. This is exactly what you would expect to get when you look at these types of tribal rugs. The same thing here, the one on the right. Now this one is nowhere near as old. But again, perfect example of what the tribal rugs are all about. And again, here is the back of it. Really solidly made pieces. Nowadays they have become almost like decor items. And then at the end, I thought I'm gonna, like I said, I mentioned this to you in the intro of the video. As a decor item, I think it's absolutely stunning. You literally have sellbacks. So for those of you who are like, well, like I said, being that I'm from Colorado, like I said, I always tell folks I'm from Colorado, but the folks there remind me of the fact that I seem to have multiple personalities. So, but this is something that folks is over there, you know, this is like a horseback. This is something that you would just toss in the back, and this is literally, like I said, you have beautiful weave, and this is a perfect example. You take two rugs, or you take one rug, and you just turn it into a carrying bag. And so, beautiful artwork, but I thought I'm going to show you something that you typically don't find in my YouTube channel. So there is also the bag, and so, here with the close-ups. Now, as I always do, I'm going to come back to you right now and just give you guys my final goodbyes. So there's our video about the Afshari rugs. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, there's also many other videos about tribal rugs that I have featured in our channel. So if you enjoy it, as I mentioned to you, feel free to hit that subscribe button or check out our other videos. I also mentioned to you there's a lot of links in the description below. As always, I wish you and your family the very best. I'm going to be coming back to you with many more videos to come. So until then, wish you the best. We'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.